Okay, so today I'm going to start my permadeath first playthrough of the new Indiana Jones game, which is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And it's not something I was even aware of was coming out or anything of the sort. It's something that I saw a trailer for maybe just a couple days ago when I'm watching a video for something else, and it was funny. It's like I didn't know there was an Indiana Jones game coming out, so I thought, oh, this kind of looks like Indiana Jones. This is like some Indiana Jones clone type game, and it's in first person too. That's the only thing I know about it, I guess, based on that. But then it actually is officially that. So I guess I thought it would just be some similar game that's sort of ripping off or a similar genre. But what you think of more with this type of game is Tomb Raider more so. I don't know if I've ever heard of too many Indiana Jones games. I feel like they don't really have too many, or they've never really made too many. But yeah, from the perspective of the movies, I haven't kept up with any of the new ones. Obviously I've seen some of the old school ones, but I wouldn't really know if it's like, I don't think it's based on one of them in particular. It's probably just an original story set in the universe, but I have no idea. I don't know if Harrison Ford will be voice acting, like any tie-ins like that. But yeah, I haven't seen any of the newer ones where he's like a 60-year-old man going out on these crazy adventures. I hate when stories do that. Like they milk it so far, like Tom Cruise, in the new Top Gun or whatever, like where you have a 60-year-old man doing something that, just because you want the same actor to be in there, but it doesn't really make sense. Or like Rocky Balboa is a good example of that. He's still trying to fight for world championship even when he's an old man, which makes no sense at all. But yeah, this is going to be a permadeath first playthrough, totally blind. Obviously, it just came out yesterday. I was going to play it yesterday, but I couldn't because it was such a big file size. I didn't realize it's like 120 gigs, which is insane. These games really need to stop doing that. You could say, oh, it's because the graphics are good or whatever, but I always hate that with like NBA 2K games. It's literally just a basketball game where you're going up and down the same court, but it's like 100 plus gigs for that shit. Like you can learn how to compress this. But yeah, it's going to be permadeath first playthrough, which is something I always do. It's a long-standing format of mine. But typically, this is the one difference. So like last month, I started this new iteration of that, which I haven't done in a while, which is back in 2016, I officially started my permadeath first playthrough format where I would just play games that I haven't played before for the first time, blind, everything like that. And if I die, the playthrough's over. I can't play it again for another 6 months to a year. So it's like a high penalty state. So like if I was to die really quickly right now in this first episode, that would mean I just wasted $70. I was going to say 60, but it's actually 70. And it's actually made by Bethesda, or at least licensed by Bethesda, whatever. So they have their fingerprints on a lot of, big IP like Doom and stuff. Even if they're not directly developing it, I'm not sure, but like they just have a lot of influence in big name series. But no, it's if I die today, then the playthrough's over. I'm not going to play it again for at least 6 months to a year, and maybe never. And so the penalty of that is high. Like I just wasted $70. But this is like a once in a month series that I want to do, where I buy a new game once a month. So last month I did Slitterhead. That's when I started this. Like, okay, I'm going to do a permadeath first playthrough of a new game every month. So November was Slitterhead. Now I only played it twice, so I wasn't really, I was trying to make a regular series out of it, and hopefully I would have beaten it by now, but I only played it 2 episodes, which is surprising. It's partly because I was trying to use a controller for it, like it suggested. It even suggested for this game, but I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to play it with mouse and keyboard. I'm not the kind of guy who really cares about controller, but I was trying to indulge it for that game just because it asked for it, but now it seems like every game asks for it. Because like even games like Dark Souls, people say you should use a controller, but I used a mouse and keyboard and it was just fine, even with all my hard mode antics and everything that I did. So yeah, I'll definitely do this with mouse and keyboard, and I'll keep that as a backup series, I guess, the Slitterhead one, because I still need to finish that. Or I guess if I die in this early before January, right, I'll have that to go back to. But the goal is to kind of make a regular series out of it. And so, yeah, it's usually around the middle of the month that I'll try to do these, because that's when I started. Like November 15th was when I started Slitterhead, even though it came out like around the 8th. But yeah, every month I'll just pick some game, AAA or whatever the case might be, something new. The big key with that is I want it to not be like a re-release or a sequel. Maybe a sequel is okay, but typically not a re-release, not a sequel, not an early access game that's finally coming out, like something that's actually genuinely fully new. And so that's the main difference with this format, is that typically I'll do a permadeath first playthrough of various games. Like anything I play almost is like that. Even multiplayer games at times where I find a way to do it. Like every character has one life. Like if it's Overwatch 2 came out and then I play each character until I lose a game once and then it's over. But typically I'll do it with older games that I haven't played before. So for me, it's the same thing as if it just came out or it's new because it's new to me, right? But I typically won't play games that just came out, either whether it be in this format or just overall. I just have so many old games to catch up on. But yeah, that's something I haven't done in a long time. So the first time I did it in a while was last month with Slitterhead, where I played something that just came out. It's brand new, blind playthrough, first playthrough permadeath. So it is kind of a cool thing that I've wanted to do for a while, but I just feel like I don't have enough time, or I just don't keep up with new games in general. I like to kind of let them simmer or anticipate them. I'm not the type of guy who plays stuff right when it comes out. In a way, it's kind of like, oh, you're doing it to, it would be sort of a good form of content to like bait people in, like, oh, people aren't watching for, it's like the Rad Brad effect. People aren't watching necessarily for you in that case. They're watching for the game. They just want to see, oh, the game just came out, so they'll watch for that reason alone. It'll create a certain traction. Although arguably it could be super competitive for that reason too. Like everybody's doing it at the same time, but there is a standard like that. Like the reason why Rad Brad and people like that were popular, he would be like on point. Like he would upload a full playthrough of the game within like a day of it coming out, and he'd spam upload and every new release right on point. And so even if they weren't watching for him, obviously there's a reason why he became so popular in particular, but even if they weren't watching for him, they were watching just for the game. You just want to see what the game looks like. You want to see if it's worth buying. You want to walk through as you play it for the first time, whatever the case may be. Right, so there is a certain value to that, but I'm not the type of person to do it for that reason anyway. And my computer isn't bad, but I may have some little trouble running some of these games. Like Slitterhead was on medium settings, and even then it was stuttering a little bit, so I don't know what this will be on. In fact, I couldn't even launch it. I had to update my graphics driver before it would even let me do that, just because I haven't done it, I guess, in a couple weeks. So it's weird that it wouldn't even let you open the game. It's one thing if it doesn't run optimally. But yeah, I'm not somebody who's like a big fan of the series, but I've obviously seen the older ones, and I'd be interested to see whether there's some real actor voice acting support overlap or not. I mean, even if it would be, then he'd have to be an old man, right? Or somebody doing a voice for the younger version of Indiana Jones that we get here. Like, I don't know exactly how any of that's going to work. The one thing that's weird about it is it seems to be in first person based on that short little trailer I saw, which is not what you'd really expect from this type of game. You think more in the vein of Tomb Raider, which typically those are, again, in third person, I'm pretty sure. I haven't played too many of those either. And what would be interesting to see with the genre of this, too, is like it creates a great pretext for puzzle solving and stuff like that, where unfortunately with modern games what happens is there'll be like a pretense of some other genre, but it'll just devolve into action and the core mechanics, like a AAA window dressing. The graphics are good, the mechanics are good, but it's more just about combat and action ultimately. So like you think about Far Cry 3 or something, oh, it's a survival game and it's a hunting game, but it's actually just more like an action / stealth game, right, where the hunting element or the survival element is very diminished and muted. It's just there as like a gimmick or, again, window dressing. So it's the same thing here. Is it going to actually have good puzzle solving, or is it going to just have and this is an interesting title screen too. There's not even any title on it at all. Favorite RPG? Probably I don't know, I don't want to say a cliche like Skyrim, but at least a modern one, Skyrim, or older school stuff, maybe Fallout 3. Yeah, I guess I'm a Bethesda fanboy. Let's see. So yeah, there's no what was I saying? I haven't even played some of the older games in that though, like Fallout 1 or 2. I probably should play one day. What was I saying? Just yeah, it will be permadeath obviously, and I did that last month where I tried to start with this new game rotation, and beyond that, also between, I actually haven't played either of those, come to think of it. Fallout 1 and 2 are high up on the list. Yeah, I'm surprised I've never gotten around to those. Yeah, I've never played Final Fantasy 7, or honestly too many games in the Final Fantasy series. Part 4 is basically my favorite. Okay, so what was I saying? Just yeah, it's weird to see that it's in first person if nothing else. Oh yeah, like whether they'll actually delve into puzzle solving as a big mechanic, or if, again, that'll just be there as a little bit in the background, but it'll devolve into an action game like modern games typically do. Imagery warning. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a fictional story inspired by historical events and characters. Names, characters, organization, locations, and events are either... Wait, it's moved through that so fast. Photosensitivity warning. How can anybody read that in that time? I didn't even hit anything to advance it. UI font size regular, subtitles full, gameplay and cinematics. What are you gonna do? Halt. Sometimes I don't like when it overdoes it with like tips and stuff. Closed captions for important sound effects. Subtitle font size, high contrast mode. Sometimes I like things without subtitles more, just it's more immersive that way, but whatever. I don't want to miss like something that could end up helping me gameplay wise. Oh, and we're always obligated to take the highest difficulty, like I did Nightmare mode, and Sephiroth is by far the best RPG bad guy in any game, so I've heard, but yeah, I've never played it. Final Fantasy VII original from PlayStation. Yeah, I grew up with Nintendo, so I did more like, you know, I missed out on a lot of those kind of games. Even like Symphony of the Night that I love so much, I didn't play until much later because that was on PlayStation too. Alright, so let's go. It's really going to let you just start with this. For the bravest adventurers looking for a very hard stealth and combat challenge. Yeah, it kind of makes sense for it to be sort of a stealth game too. Enemies land devastating blows and attack in overwhelming numbers. Okay. Let's just read what it says. For adventurers seeking a harder stealth and combat challenge, enemies dish out significant damage, attacking greater numbers. Enemies deal an average, attack in moderate numbers. Okay. Adventure experience, lighter adventure, exploration is more guided, puzzles are easier to solve. Yeah, there could even be a permadeath failure state, like whether I game over in terms of dying or whether I fail like a puzzle. If you fail too many times or like run out of time, that would count too, right? There's all kind of other various failure states that I've lost to in this format in the past. Symphony of the Night, yeah. Sometimes people wouldn't think of that as an RPG series as much, but that one definitely is. Like, it adds a bunch of other mechanics in that weren't in the previous Castlevania games. But yeah, I missed out on a lot of Microsoft games, like whatever, like Halo, and I would have missed out on Final Fantasy and stuff. Although a lot of those were on Nintendo too, the older Final Fantasy. Default setting lets you enjoy the story with a moderate adventure challenge. Yeah, where's the very hard mode for this? Exploration is not guided, puzzles are more challenging. Enable HDR is fine. I don't really care about that. Picture framing, cinematic, just black bars, full screen. I don't really know what meaningful difference this will make here. I'll just do full screen, I guess. Or this is actually our character looking, I guess. Possibly through binoculars. But yeah, this has a typical Bethesda issue where you can't alt tab out either, because I was trying to do that. Or now we get this. Yeah, well, what's with the title screen without the name of the thing on there? Tutorials on, I guess that's fine. We could make it really hard mode where we don't even get that. Outfit, great circle, bullwhip. I won't worry about that too much. I'm not going to use a controller. Accessibility, account. None of this should really matter. Is there going to be like some kind of multiplayer type shenanigans too? So we already chose the difficulty. You would think it would let you choose that like once you go into the game, but...
We are walking the path of death. What of the curse? Superstitions, Atibo. Tranquilo.
Graphics are pretty good. Oh yeah, what did it default in terms of the graphics settings? Probably not very high, honestly. Motion blur recommended. It's really going to be almost medium to low. Right, I'm not going to argue with it either because I can understand. But yeah, we're going to end up being like a stealth cheeser, both because of the difficulty and because it's permadeath and because it's, you know, you don't know what you're doing really, so you should probably play stealthy for the most part. So it makes it very clear what the difficulty does for you too, in terms of enemies just hit more, and obviously there's going to be more of them, which that part is kind of a little scary. Not so much that they have more health though. What is that hat? That seems so unfitting. Or it makes you sort of stand out a bit too much. Some superstitious thing that doesn't affect Indiana at all. He just said no one left.
Bovitos could be watching us. Bovitos don't like intruders.
Relax.
Yeah, see, whose voice is this even? You got the sprint, you got the crouch. I keep trying to hit C to crouch, but sprinting depletes stamina, stops sprinting to recover, but it doesn't give you like a UI bar for it yet. Or a lot of games just don't do that at all. Yeah, it creates a very immersive kind of thing where, again, I'll play it either until I die or until I beat the game, or if it's
Easy to make a fire in Bovito land.
if it's open world or something and I really take my time, I play it very slowly, then what happens is I don't necessarily have to do it by the next month, but
This was Forrestal's favorite.
Why did they leave these things behind?
I think they were intent on coming back.
there's going to be like some AI generated Harrison Ford voice to make it sound like a younger version of himself. 'Cause it does sound like him, but I don't know how with his age. Yeah, they always go easy on you at the beginning of a game, so clearly, even if I was gonna die, I'll get through the tutorial episode. They're not showing his face, really.
Bovitos are near.
That's also why it's in first person, like they have some copyright issue. They can't show his face, even though it's his game.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
That is like a trope. They're strategically not showing his face for some reason. Is that going to be a mechanic like we have to manage our thirst and different? Probably not. But yeah, you could almost make it a stealth / survival game more so than a, you know, than a action game. I guess I haven't played too many movie license type games either. I feel like I should have a better answer for that too then. Like, what's my favorite RPG besides just the very cliche Skyrim or Fallout 3 or something like that? There's got to be an older school one, but I can't think off the top of my head. I mean, like WoW, obviously. But that, you know, I think of that in a different category because it's an MMO, but technically, like classic WoW. Bro is like me. He's trying to avoid face cam as much as possible. F to crack whip. Did you see it like in the reflection of the water? Okay, that introduces the whip mechanic. One person ran away because they were scared. One person either betrayed you or I don't know exactly what they were doing. Can we pick up that gun, dude? That's one of my pet peeves in gaming is when people either waste ammo, shoot when they don't need to, like Carly or whoever in the early season 1 of The Walking Dead. And when people just leave shit on the ground like that. Or that's even like a horror movie trope. Like, oh, they'll escape from the killer, but they'll leave the weapon there that they used to fend them off or whatever. Oh wait, it didn't even tell me. Oh no, it's F. Okay, never mind. it made me do it when I first did it.
This is it. This is where Forrestal cashed in.
A friend of yours.
A competitor. He was good. He was very, very good.
Senor, nobody has come out of there alive. Please.
I like how casually that scene happened with him almost getting shot. Like, that guy's not going to come back or what? That's basically your stamina meter for there. Oh no, now it is showing for the sprint as well. You gotta always play the beginning of a game very slowly, especially when you're doing this kind of format, because they're gonna tutorialize something and then expect you to know it. Which is also why it's good to like play it regularly. Like with Slitterhead, I played it once and then I waited like 2 weeks and then played it again. Like, you got to play it every day so you get in like a rhythm with it, honestly. You don't forget how certain things work.
Senor.
Average day in Australia. He really doesn't give a shit. Yeah, how about we have the torch guy in front? I mean, they're not very aggressive, clearly. Or maybe that's the secret, is you can't overreact. A lot of these little dinky QTE moments that are not very interactive or interesting.
Stop. Stay out of the light.
You're in the light as you say that. Or yeah, imagine if we died to a trap or something. He's just so unfazed by everything. He's like me. React harder, Indiana.
You said he was very good.
He was. Just not good enough.
Are you?
Okay, I just said that too. Can we get a little torch lighting or something? Like, what is this? I don't get it. Or do we get that infinite imaginary regenerating health? What the fuck? Am I not doing it? Oh god, it does come back. Maybe just the last one doesn't, or I'm gonna die to a thing like this. I'm crouching, but is there something? I don't get it. Let that guy go in front. Why does he keep doing that over and over? You would think that should trigger it. I'm just gonna be a moron and be unable to solve even this. Or do I maybe sprint through it? I'm trying to bait it out. I mean, it's telling you to crouch, but I'm not understanding. Like, it's not even letting me stand up. This should be enough to get you through. Oh my god. Does that count as that? Oh my god. That should count. That should actually count. What the fuck? Maybe I should get another chance though. I'm allowed to restart at the beginning of the game. Maybe that's how I should do it. I don't get it though, because it's saying crowd. I'm just curious about this puzzle. Let's just solve this puzzle. What the fuck? What? I don't get it. I literally, well, at the very least, I would have to restart the game if I were to do that, which kind of goes against what the whole point of this is. That it's meant to be very high, for fuck's sake. Now, does that mean I can skip those cutscenes or something? At the very least, I would have to restart. How do I, like, delete? Right where, I kind of was trying to rule that out, where it was meant to be very firm, because maybe I should get like a 3 life system or something.
We are walking the path of
That's kind of lame, though. I don't understand still what happened, because, or I shouldn't be allowed to test it after the fact to like figure out what happened. Because what happens is I was crouching the whole time and it kept doing it over and over. That's a great way to start, like fucking. I'll give myself some sort of grace period with that. Like, okay, I get 3 lives or something. But either way, I have to restart from the beginning of the game, so it doesn't matter as much, but I died at the first fucking interaction. But I genuinely don't get it, because it was auto, like, forcing me to crouch, and all I did was go through, so maybe I was trying to be overly cautious by backpedaling or something. Yeah, I'm an expert at this format, by the way. Sometimes you get in trouble with that, like where you overthink something or you know, you sometimes just have to do what the tutorial wants you to do. Alright, we can speed run through this shit, but no, I'll be pretty strict about that still, but when it's some scripted type of thing like that, wait, at least it lets you skip everything here. But no, honorably, I should just end it right there and be like, I just wasted $70. But I'm not going to do that. I literally just even said, oh, I'm not allowed to play it again for like another 6 months if I die. I don't know. Like, I literally just... That is really annoying. I'll give myself 3 lives in some random exception here, which really defeat... No, maybe I won't even. But then, I mean, I just did that, like... I don't know. I guess it doesn't always have to be like that. It can just... It can just be that... You can do it over and over as much as you want until... But you just have to restart at the beginning, which in this case, it doesn't matter much. But... I swear, something was almost like bugging out with that, because... Why should it be me first? Yeah, see, like, I'm crouching here, so... I still don't get what happened. We get that little spider cutscene here. Or maybe I'm gonna be so stealthy that I'll avoid it in the first place. That is so fucking annoying, dude. I still don't get it. Like, once you get hit, you should probably just keep going. I got hit, and then I went back. And then I got hit over again. I love that. Yeah, maybe we'll learn something from the cutscene.
Stay out of the light. Forstall.
You said he was very good.
He was. Just not good enough.
Oh, I get it. You're supposed to stay out of the light. I'm a fucking moron. Like this. Okay, I'm just dumb, dude. I was even mocking that. Like, why does that matter? Or you're like, it looked like he was in it. Okay, never mind.
Crazy, senor.
You're gonna use it as like a... Okay, I didn't really have to do anything there. God damn it. I like how I'm building up the whole format and everything too. So like, what should it be then? Like, I'll make it a 3 thing, but that defeats the whole purpose. I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed. Maybe I should just concede it right there and just do Slitterhead instead now since I fucked it up. Sometimes it can be a little bit stupid though. Like there'll be some whatever. Because I'm thinking about it more in the context of a combat.
There is nothing to fear here.
Yeah, famous last words.
That's what scares me.
Yeah, you just saw that experienced guy failed, although that was pretty early. Yeah, what kind of an experienced adventurer would ever die to a trap like that? Says me, who just did.
That did it. That's it.
Huh. I do like their emphasis on puzzle solving early. That like, oh, that could be a failure state. It's failing to solve a puzzle, but it'll actually get you killed.
That's it.
Eventually you'll have to just, you know, he won't tell you the first trick. You have to just figure it out. It's gonna be something else. Sandbag. Just wait. Push W to run. Isn't it shift that we're pushing to run though?
Give me the whip.
Throw me the idol. No time.
Give me the whip.
Adios, senor.
Oh yeah, like he'd really be surprised when the other guy tried to do that. That didn't look like you could make that at all. Or what, he just left the whip too? Or no, that's not even it. That is such a stupid thing for me to start like that. I didn't understand like why the light would have... Whatever. Yeah, amazing job, dude. What a cliche moment. You're like, why did you even need those clowns, really?
Man, I knew 10 years. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Well, where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
Oh, it doesn't count because it was all a dream, so technically my character didn't die there. That could be... Fuck.
What's that exit? Oh, it's like a labyrinth.
Lightweight.
But no, I would be generally considering that a failure state too. That's just gonna bother me the whole time. I'll give it maybe one more shot, but... Or like, should it be a combat? No, I mean, that should count effectively too.
What the devil?
That was kind of a cool introduction, but it must have been a dream sequence then because you got rolled over by the boulder.
Everywhere. Kids.
going to be somebody who snuck in to ask you for some special request for a job. Yeah, I wonder what the game over screen would actually look like. Like maybe I could somehow mental gymnastics out of technically, since you didn't know that was a dream sequence, but technically it didn't say game over. But I don't know if that'll be treated any differently. Sometimes in games it can even be hard to tell. Like that's pretty clear, but it would be like I don't know. It can be sort of vague, like in certain Amnesia and stuff. Oh yeah, let's read all the flavor text. This is how slow-paced I tend to do things. Dance classes. Don't know your Lindy from Foxtrot. We don't have the whip with us apparently here. Your Roomba from a shag. Get dance classes today and become the hippest cat in college. Marshall College, Grand 1937 dance. Buy tickets now. Willie Scott. Halloween party, Marshall College. Was the night before Halloween. See, if somebody took the time to put this here for a reason, so you're obligated to read it. And all through the night, not a ghost is stirring, nor even a fright. The spiders were crawling, and there was a chill in the air. Marshall College Halloween is on the 20th. Be there. 6 p.m. till late. I can't really read that. A lot of the time in games, they'll blur a lot of the stuff out, so it's just there, just as, you know, literal window dressing. Marshall College Archaeologist Club. Join like-minded individuals to explore the past beneath our feet. Meetings bi-weekly in the library with field outings planned for early next year. Join today. Marshall Debate Club. The world is mighty. Marshall College needs your talent. Apply. Visit room 22 to apply now. Marshall College Exchange Group. Yearly meeting 1937. Preliminary classes open to all. Okay, fine. But yeah, something here will actually serve as a clue later that you'll be expected to have known that. Because there are moments like that in these stories where like he'll be a super detective on top of everything else. I mean, that's part of the puzzle solving, but even beyond that. But no, that was like a very cliche opening scene that had all the things you would expect. The betrayals, the, you know, all the traps and everything. Which this would be kind of cool as an open world type of thing if you did that. Every game should be open world. Every game can be open world, which isn't really a genre because, oh, here's my specialty. There should be a chess mini game in here. But no, it's like, what do you call it? You can explore like different places freely. Needs your talent. Just seeing if stuff is interactable. Yeah, let's decide who's winning each of these positions. And why would they be left in such a disarray? I'm practically obligated to do this, but I can hardly even see it. Like, who's winning here between white and black? It's sort of a little unclear. White has the 3 pawns there. The king, the knight behind, the rook. Another rook. I mean, some of these you could just do by base material advantage. Like, the queens are off the board. You have a knight. You have a... There's a black piece there. Which I can't see what it is. Is it a bishop? I genuinely can't see anything. I keep trying to, like, zoom in with that. You have the king, the rook, the knight... This guy has 2 rooks. That thing, I cannot tell what it is. There's a black piece there. I'm assuming white is winning that one. This is just a rook. You have a queen, bishop, rook, rook. So white definitely seems to be winning there. And this one, I did this in like, what was that? Alien Isolation or something? Where there was like a game of chess going on. You can assess top 10 chess games in fiction history. Still better than the Harry Potter one because they show that in such a unclear way. Yeah, that was a pathetic moment that kind of ruins my whole format. So I guess the exception to the format could be that, oh, you get to restart if you die. Right, like it's still permadeath in that sense, but I mean... The whole point is for it to be a one-time, one-off thing. So I don't know what to tell you in that. There's no real way I can justify it. Even if you want to say it was a dream sequence, I don't even care. I would still count it, and there was no way for me to know that.
So vagrant.
Local map. A faculty orientation map of Marshall College campus. Confront the intruder. Map guides you to next objective. Buy tickets now. Same dancing. Or yeah, they're going to recycle the same ones over and over. Marshall Theater Group tickets on sale. Campus Clarion. You hear like some weird whispering. China, divergence, and commonalities. In the West, the culture is cultivated from predominantly Christian or otherwise Abrahamic values. In the East, however, other religious practices shape how society and people developed. Until the fall of the last Chinese dynasty 20 years ago, the country held faith in many unique religions, including Confucianism, however you say it, Taoism, and a myriad of local superstitions. Yet, even in the most distant of lands, there are threads of myths showing commonality with our own beliefs, from the great flood of the Gun Yu to the dialectic creation of stories of yin yang. Much can be learned from the differences and similarities between the Christian world and beyond. Yeah, that's always the fallacy that I use to say, I can't really read these. Like, if somebody's religious in a particular religion, right? How can you say that yours is right and everybody else's is wrong? Right? Like, oh, that one's just made up, but mine totally isn't. Fossils from the other side of the apocalypse. Fossils are a record of disasters and extinctions that our planet has suffered since its earliest days. Ice ages, floods, and volcanic eruptions have all been responsible for calamities that at the time must have seemed like the end of the world. The most well-known extinction was the one that killed the dinosaurs, yet science has yet to come to a consensus on its cause. Many have suggested an overabundance of cannibalism, a volcanic eruption, or perhaps the dinosaurs simply grew too big to survive. It is up to our next generation. I mean, this would be, of course, at the time that this is taking place. It is up to our next generation to find the answers. Tenth century BCE China. Gui food vessel toward the Midwestern Zoo. Two of the most noticeable changes that occurred in bronze casting involved the abandonment of the Tao Ti composite animal mask motif and the adoption of long inscriptions. The Gui displays various birds, a popular motif on its main decorative register. The bird's flamboyant design with their crests and peacock-like plumage is unique. The lengthy inscription neatly cast into the cauldron's bottom. Some of these they make so dark that you can't read, which is kind of a relief in the sense that I'm going to get overwhelmed with flavor text, but this is at least a good way to present it. Like, it feels very organic that it would be like this. Poland cave bear skull. This is half century something Poland. I can't see. Unintelligible Latin. It sounds more like something demonic that we're hearing. 9th century BC, Assyria. Saluting protective spirit, masterfully executed with incised details and exaggerated but no, I won't even give it a 3 strikes. I'll just give it 1 more strike for some reason. I'll just pretend like, oh, I totally am so smart that I knew it was a dream sequence, so it doesn't count, and I'm a bit of a clown. I love that. Like, he even says it too, but I was mocking, like, oh, what the hell does a light have to do with anything unless somebody's looking at us? Like, and doing it on that basis. But this giant, fierce, protective spirit raises his right hand in a ritual salute. His left hand grasps a branch bearing rosettes, perhaps a stylized date palm. Across the center of the relief are inscribed the lines of Akkadian cuneiform, recounting military victories, conquest, plundered loot, and the reconstruction of the city. That was just to give you an example of like how even that sort of thing would count and would be absolutely could end the run, and that would be legitimate. I'm just showing an example hypothetically if somebody was a moron clown enough to moron clown enough to die there. I'll be the first person ever in the world to read all the flavor text in the game. But no, just because I'm playing something right when it comes out, the incentive would be like, oh, you should try to beat it as quickly as possible and then do a world first permadeath run in that sense or something. But I'm not really the type to do that, right? I'll take my time and it'll be a super slow playthrough. But it's a case where that would be an incentive as well. Like, you're just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. Christianity, power, and judgment. With Christian societies, faith is often tied with the concept of justice. Sinners go to hell while those who repent may spend eternity in heaven. Thus, God is positioned as an all-knowing and all-powerful judge, or more simply, as a father. Wait, why did I have to restart? Oh, I just did that because I felt like I had to restart the file, I guess. Position is all-knowing. Yeah, generally speaking, though, I will say that is not allowed. So, I almost, as an honorable thing, I shouldn't even do it. And that's where I'm sort of really bothered. Because I'm trying to show this as... I don't know. I'm trying to show it as, like... You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of this. Oh, now I can't play it again for 6 months. I don't know. I shouldn't really invalidate the whole format that I'm trying to do. It's supposed to be super high stakes. No, you know what? I'll do it this way. I'll say... This one, God, I'm going to show it in 2 forms, right? There's 2 examples of the permadeath first playthrough format that I'm going to do with new games. One of them is a raw permadeath, which means if I die, it's over and that's it. But this is another example, like, oh, we get to do it as many times as we want, but we just have to restart the game, right? So this game will be an example of that. But it won't even be. I'll still be honorable the next time, but the next time isn't going to happen. But it just shows, okay, I can still do it, but I just have to restart the game like a normal permadeath run. But in the other sense, like with Slitterhead, that'll be pure. Like if I die, it's over, period. I'm done playing that for 6 months to a year. Like I have that condition as a failure state. So these are just the 2 examples you see. I totally intended that. God is positioned as all-knowing, all-powerful judge, or more simply as a father. Early Christian sculpture provides insight into how fear of judgment and power inspired traditions of reverence of monks and priests, echoing the quiet loyalty of apostles, of Mary, the dutiful mother, or even of the early Christian sects now viewed as heretical, who saw the unlimited power of God as something that could be inherited and exploited by men. 16th century sculpture of Christ resurrected. What is like this tongue-clicking ASMR that we have in the background, dude? 10th century wall at cup. 16th century Saint Anthony. 15th century Our Lady of Sorrow. 17th century altar cross. What, like we only get 1 per each century? 1 item per century we found. 16th century abbot something, I can't even read it. Gothic reliquary herm. This is a good way to actually show flavor though. Aphrodite of Milos plaster cast. You get in trouble for that kind of nudity, like we just had that moment in Slitterhead where you had the thing impersonating a woman or whatever to try to lure a victim in. Man, I really can't read some of these. Chieftain stool. I can't read it. Peru, America. Okay, whatever. We read most of it. But no, this is how thorough I would typically be. But the way they're presenting it is a little bit... like, some of it is just really hard to read, as if maybe you're not meant to. Just see if there's something else meaningful that we missed, or I guess you kind of can read these. Hawaii, USA. Like, who would really take the time to read all this? But you have to think, like, they took the time to put it in there. And not just like, oh, they're putting in random bits of flavor, but like they took the time to think probably about the logic of this too. Like, oh, this is a real thing that would have been found in Hawaii by 1937, and this is a real, you know, these all must be references and flavor to stuff that actually makes sense. So they must have put in a lot of time and effort into this. Poland. Yeah, this could be a very educational game, in fact. You should at least be carrying your whip with you, though, if you're going to be facing some vagabonds here. Or what, like you just sleep in your college campus as a professor or whatever you're doing? Hussar armor. I don't know all the lore even of the series, so I wouldn't know even what's going on, but he's running that archaeology program, obviously, that we saw in like the poster and stuff. Or yeah, just put some goddamn lights on. Unintelligible Latin, as we've been hearing for like 10 minutes. It kind of diminishes the creepiness of it when you do it for this long.
All right, pal. You can't sleep here.
Does it look like I'm sleeping?
Who the hell are you?
Really, we just go straight into a fight. No introduction, no need for anything.
You asked for it.
Oh,
Whatever
shit.
you're up to, pal. It ends now.
Oh, come on. Now, should that count? Bro, okay, I'm done. Why is everything so... I didn't even do anything. Whatever. We're gonna count that. That's fine, dude. I'll accept that this is what my format is gonna be like. Or no, I guess I qualified it. So look, there's two forms of these. One of them... Because some games are bullshit like that, especially when you're playing on the highest difficulty, but that is sort of the point to embrace that. With the Slitterhead one, it shows an example of, again, the pure thing. If you die... it's over, period. That's it. You get one shot, and then I'm not going to play it again. This one, since it seems to be a little bullshit at times, it means that I have to restart the game. That will be the penalty. I like, for example, there, dude, especially when it's introducing things, like my instinct to try to run away always gets me in trouble. It means that I have to restart the game, so I will have to redo that stupid tutorial thing every single time. But it means that I can get as many tries as I want, I guess. Because it just seems like that kind of thing that's going to be trial and error a little bit, especially when you're a moron like me. But it is meant to be like a high standard format. But no, I'll make an exception just because generally, though, this isn't how I want to do it. Normally, the beginning of the game, even on a higher difficulty, is meant to be easy enough where you can figure it out. And then later, by the time it gets difficult where you're gonna die a lot, you should be experienced enough to avoid it. But whatever, dude. I'm already... it's hard to, accept that, oh, I would have just spent $70. But no, this will be the punishment at least. We have to go back to the beginning every time, obviously. And that's that, so... the rule with that is you shouldn't be able to try stuff again. Like, if I die, like, oh, let me see how that worked. No, I shouldn't be able to see how that worked. I should have to go through the entire game again up to that point, and then, like, you know what I mean, and figure it out in a organic sense. Because if I died, but then I get to try again, first of all, that's not even permanent then. You're just continuing. But also, it means that now you get to basically cheat and try to figure out what it is that you died to, right? You shouldn't be allowed to do that either. That is really disappointing. This guy's hat just kind of threw me off too. Yeah, there's no failure state. What we're going to do is we're going to just display every way that you can possibly die at least once. And by doing that, we, we'll just be presenting that as a sort of flavorful thing, right? Just show every possible failure state in the game. But no, I don't get what even happened there. That guy looks kind of like the Tony Todd, I feel like, from... or no, it looks like the guy from Final Destination, right? Who just passed away, actually, right? I guess you could say he met his Final Destination. And you might say, oh, it's that actor, but how could it be if... I don't know. I guess it could have been, because if this game's been in development for a couple years, he could have been doing it. Yeah, I was almost thinking that was going to be a mechanic that you could have to worry about. like hunger and food and stuff. But I don't know if they really want to go the survival angle with it. But it almost feels like that would be more appropriate, right? Rather than making it too action based, you could obviously do that. Why not have them do this kind of labor for you? Oh, I guess he kind of does. Have to whip crack. Okay. You just got to remember what could potentially get us killed in there, which is pretty much nothing besides the spikes at the beginning. Right, which you just have to avoid the you have to avoid the actual light for that reason. Dude, like sometimes, especially when you're choosing a high difficulty like that, this is a good example of the problem with this at times, but you just kind of have to deal with it. It's tutorializing something, so if you do anything aside from exactly what it wants you to do, right, you'll just die because it's like scripted in such a way that, oh, you can only do exactly this, and there's very little room for error. So like I try to run away in a way that's like,
It was.
sounds like me, bro, washed up clown.
Guess we'll find out.
Left control to crouch. Let's see if he does that exactly the right way. Yeah, he totally didn't touch the light, by the way. Fucking clown.
What the? Crazy, senor.
That seems like a very forgiving mechanic, too. Like, it doesn't... Or at least it's not making you worry about it too much. Absolute clown. And then he bro thinks he's good enough to betray you, too. And... Oh. Well, I'm a bit of a... Okay, dude. Okay. We're really going to be milking this one. This is the thing, though. We have to do it. Like, this makes it seem almost... Or is he going to quit to the menu or just... Okay. Okay, dude. We're going to be seeing this a lot. I guess it won't even be a 3-strike thing. It'll just be as much as I want to do it. But it seems really dumb. But it doesn't let you change those during the course of the game, or does it? Or no, it does. Okay, I forgot about that. Or I didn't forget, but I just went too quickly. By rushing, you end up taking longer because you should just be more careful. That's what the immersive mindset you got to put yourself in, which clearly I wasn't in that mood right now, which is that like you have to take it as though it's actually real life and really think through. Like, don't be in a hurry and don't... you know, be lazy about it. Yeah, this game I'll make an exception for and show that as a possibility, but generally speaking, I don't want it to be like that. It should be pure. The problem is with these difficulty settings, right? When it gives you that, I feel obligated to take the highest one, but then it leads to this kind of... Not even like anything combat yet. Oh, I guess that was combat. And the best technique in situations like that, not that even as I'm saying it, I'm not taking my own advice. You should like be reactive, like wait and don't try to, you know, I try to initiate or I try to run away. Like don't try to do too much. I wonder if you can just miss that too. Like if it would let you progress if you don't do that. Okay, there's only 2 trap things that we have to worry about here. And then when we're running away on the outside, you just have to make that jump, which I don't know if you can even miss that. Like, we didn't even need the whip. We just kind of made that, which looked totally unrealistic. 0 out of 10, unrealistic game. But no, I like the presentation a lot. The way they... I don't know. It seems to take itself seriously to a degree. Okay, we do that. Why you wouldn't pick up the gun, I don't know. Or, you know, whip it, not just to knock the gun away, but actually grab the gun in that same motion. Okay, this part has nothing that you have to worry about, although I guess I typically didn't sprint through here, so maybe something will happen. That is amazing, though. We totally make a mockery of my own format, but technically, I guess... I'm even explaining it at the beginning, though. I love it. How, like, oh no, if I die in these, I can't play for 6 months, and, like, it's totally a big deal.
You said he was fed food.
It was. Just not good enough.
Are you?
Now this one doesn't actually one-shot you, but the next one does, where you get to oh, so caps lock is your map. I just hit that by mistake too. Oh, I just almost did the same exact thing. Or maybe I like ran ahead too far. I mean, you would think you could just walk around or in between some of these, but like I love how it's just cryptic enough to be, you know, like unclear to untrained adventurers, but also it's clear enough where there is a way. Like if you really wanted to, like this is always a villain trope in fiction in general, like, oh, we make this puzzle like we're Ganondorf and we lock Link in a room, but then oh, you can get out if you solve this puzzle. It's like, why even make there be a way to get out? Just make it, oh, you're locked and you're screwed and you'll just die in there, that's it. Like, no, we got to make some super elaborate way to let you figure a way out of there. Yeah, if you try to go too fast, it might punish you too after doing this.
That's how it's done.
And then you have to do something with the... I like all the tricks that it's showing though. Like, so... you got a trick for everything. Canvas-filled sandbag. I don't think there's a way to really fail this. Like, it auto just does it. Alright, we just gotta run out of here, and the main thing is we have to jump across here, or you have to like wait for a cutscene, or you have to do this first.
No time to argue.
Yeah, we weren't even trying to argue. Yeah, that looks totally impractical how we did that.
It's only American.
Man, I knew 10 years ago. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Well, where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
Okay, and of course that one doesn't count because that's scripted. Okay, now we gotta just run through it. At least I can ignore all the flavor here because I don't think there's anything we did besides pick up like a map from somewhere, which I forget even where it was. We get the little chest thing. So this is the one good thing about my flavor nature. Or maybe I missed it. I thought... I can't remember where we got that. As if we wouldn't know the layout to our own school that we're at. Oh, here, they make it glow pretty conspicuously. Okay, so let me try to do this a little better. This is really fucking sad, though. Okay, let me see what we got here. He's gonna turn out to be a good guy, but why he would randomly just go right into punching us? Or it's not actually letting me skip this one for some reason. So I tried to run away, which was apparently a mistake.
All right, pal.
So I don't know exactly what we're supposed to do here, but there's very little room for error because there's very little room for error, and the reason why is because it is on the very hard difficulty. As if you don't have a gun or a whip or anything. Or even he's honorable. He didn't try to hit us with the weapon that he took from us. He just went right to his bare hand. Okay, let me try to understand this a little bit.
It ends now. This is a mute.
Okay. I don't fully understand what's happening, but... No way, no way, no way, no way. Oh, come on. Come on, dude. Fucking... Dude. Maybe I'm trying to greed a little bit. You have to be a little more disciplined. So stupid. Alright, fine. We'll put up with this for now.
We are walking the path of death.
This is what we have to deal with if I'm such a clown. I'm telling you, once you get through maybe the tutorial stuff, it would be okay, because it would be like... I wonder if that starts to damage you if your stamina runs out, too. So whatever, this is like a hybrid version of my permadeath first playthrough format, which is not really what it's meant to be, but It's okay. I'll make an exception for this game. But think about, like, once we get further in the game, which I maybe never will, is that, and this is the problem, you'll keep dying to the same thing over and over because you don't know how to, you know, you died because you didn't know exactly what to do, so now you'll still end up in the same situation. But no, it's a case where we could be halfway through the game, and if I die, I have to go back, you know, same thing, so it's a high penalty at least.
This was Forrestal's favorite.
Fine, we'll just do it like this, I guess.
I think you're right.
Losing to a non-combat focused game in the tutorial. Yeah, it's the sort of thing where you'd rather a game not have a difficulty setting to choose, because then if it does, then I feel obligated to take, obviously, the highest one. This, you go to the water, you whip him with the stupid thing. You don't take the gun, which wouldn't even really help you here, but... yeah, if he feels like there's vagrants about in the school, why wouldn't he have a gun with him? But I guess he's just expecting it to be some stupid kids or something. Or obviously he's just trying to tutorialize the hand-to-hand combat. Which, yeah, that was one cutscene that didn't allow me to skip. Oh my god, bro. This is really unbelievable and not what I was expecting to. I mean, it's really my fault. You know, the standard is always high, like you have to just figure things out, but there's been like 3 chances to die, and I guess I died on 2 of them. I did die on the other one too, but that was just because I was in a rush, like where you have to put the stick in the ground. Okay. Yeah, this bro is literally me. He died to the first trap that you see.
It was. Just not good enough.
Are you?
Yeah, just always have somebody go in front of you, like this guy behind us.
Crazy, senor.
Okay, let's just try to beat this clown. Oh shit. There's always that temptation, huh? Beat that clown guy in a fist fight. That'll be my checkpoint because I don't even have a ton of time here. This was amazing though. I go into it all hyped, like, oh yeah, I'm so excited for this new format where I'm playing new games with my permadeath first playthrough format, and it's so exciting. And look at this, dude, and the standard is so high and everything. Unbelievably stupid. Okay, here all you have to do is just I keep waiting as if it really would make you wait. Equipped. Oh, I haven't seen this actually. Wait, where did it show like the whole menu? We have that, we have this, the little book. Oh, can we actually read that like in full? Maybe this is the only way. Oh, I do actually have a gun here anyway. Do I get to actually read the whole thing? I guess not. Wait, what is that? Oh, we just put it down when we were doing that. Okay, hurry up. You have to wait. You have to throw him that shit. If you do it too early, you might screw up.
No time to argue.
Like, what if I miss? What if I throw it down the hole? Do I fail because of that? Yeah, even that one, I didn't even do the jump properly. But it didn't punish you there.
Man, I knew 10 years. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
Okay, let me give myself one more try at the fist fight. I really don't get what is happening. I keep trying to run away and getting in trouble because of that, or you get knocked down as if that part is meant to be scripted as well. It's just something you got to learn like one time how to do. But it does make me look like a clown, and I will accept it, but whatever. At least that's not too long of a thing to have to keep redoing, but I mean, any later point in the game. Oh, now it is letting me skip it.
Whatever you're up to, pal. It ends now.
Keep trying to run away, but then he's very good at closing in on you, so I don't know.
This is a museum. Careful. Let go of me.
Okay, that did do damage to me though still. I don't understand. Do that, run away. He gets kind of stuck in the exhibits a little bit. I don't know how else to do it than this, man. Backpedal my way to freedom like in an MMO.
Let go.
Okay, we did it, I guess. Even though I was about to die from that. Or am I dying in a different way?
Is that the best you got?
Okay, at least we get beaten in the scripted way, not the, as if the same thing couldn't have happened by me dying, but... Or I mean getting beaten the other way, and the Great Circle. Already plot armor moment count 1. Where, you know, oh, our main hero, who's so capable, already died officially in the story because
Indiana?
he could have just killed us right then and the story's over.
I'd wondered where you'd got to. What happened?
Where did he go?
Who?
The giant.
I didn't see any giant.
I caught someone breaking into the museum. He was tall. He took something.
Well, did you see his face?
At least he believes him immediately.
Scarred. Dark skin. He spoke some form of Latin.
Latin? Well, that is a novelty.
Come on, Marcus. We need to find out what he took.
Yes, righto.
How do you even know he took anything?
This display case has been ransacked. Is there anything missing?
Let's have a look.
Temper your cuneiform. Okay, but is that a checkpoint?
Exhibits that were in this display.
Well, I mean, obviously he made a mess, but... Or in fact, this was very different than it was when we fought him, wasn't it? Isn't this the same... This is the same room. Okay, that should count as a checkpoint less than a minute ago, so we'll leave off on there. We survived the first fist fight. But no, it's like, I thought he just wouldn't even believe us. But the footprints and stuff should still be there. That was a pretty pathetic start, though, I will acknowledge. I don't know what to tell you.
Display cabinet. We should find them all and see what...
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. God damn it. But no, ordinarily, if it wasn't this particular one, or oh, is this how it leaves it off? Like on a, it'll show you like the beginning of the scene on the title there. But yeah, it's weird that it doesn't have like the logo, like the name of the game and stuff on the title screen. But no, it's a case where this could be an alternative way we do this, but normally it would be like, okay, we failed that, right? We die, then we go back to whatever we haven't finished. Like Slitterhead is obviously still there, or I just don't do anything and then I move on to the next one next month, so I'll have to wait. But I'll make an exception for this one, that's fine. Okay, see you later. Okay, so today's going to be episode 2 in my permadeath first playthrough of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and obviously, I was kind of making fun of that name, I think, a little bit. Like, it just doesn't sound very, very badass, like, compared to Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever. Like, I'm not even a big fan of the series, but that's one of the least badass titles you can come up with, The Great Circle. Like, it just sounds so generic. Like, obviously, it's going to be badass when we see it, but just the namesake I'm not impressed by. But no, all I did last time was go through that little tutorial intro sequence, which was pretty cool, except it was a dream sequence, like where the one guy betrays you and the one guy gets scared of the statue, and the way they presented that was actually kind of cool, like a typical traditional way you would start a movie with like some high octane sort of, you know, they're going on a treasure hunt, but that wouldn't be like a very consequential one. That's just like some background thing to introduce the characters and stuff. But they ruin it by making it a dream sequence. That should have just been some actual thing he had done in the past, and that would have been fine. But like a memory more so than an actual dream. But yeah, I made one adjustment to it though. Obviously, it's permadeath. It's going to be blind first playthrough. Obviously, it just came out like about a week ago, I think, or at least a few days ago. That's when I played it last. I was trying to play it the day it came out, but then I couldn't download it in time because it's a huge file size. It was like 120 gigs, so I just said screw it, I'll wait. But I changed my format a little bit for this game that I won't do in the future with this. But what it is starting with last month, I wanted to bring my permadeath first playthrough format back to new games. I always do it with older games that I've never played before, so it's still new to me, like I always say. But the difference with this one is that, or with that, like last month I did Slitterhead, I started that, and it's like if I die, the whole playthrough's over, and then I can't play it again for 6 months to a year, and that's it, right? So there's a high penalty state for that. I just bought a new game for $60, right? I think that was 50, but I've just bought that, and then if I die, I can't play it anymore. I delete my file, and that's it, right? So that was what this was meant to be. So every month I'm trying to do one game. So November's game was Slitterhead, and I just started it, and I just did like 2 episodes. I was trying to make it a more regular thing, but whatever. And then December is going to be this game. But the point is that I broke my format with this a little bit because technically I can still call it a permadeath first playthrough, but it's not a hard one. Like even when I write it in my schedule categories, I put that one in caps and I put this in lowercase, like the word permadeath. So that's a permadeath first playthrough, but it's in capital letters to imply that if I die, the playthrough's over, I delete the game, I stop playing it, and that's it. Like my normal ones that I do with older games, or even with the new games that I would do on my old channel occasionally, but normally I do it just with games I haven't played, not necessarily new games. But the point is that this one, I changed it because I died so early on the stupid spikes in the beginning because I'm a moron, right? And even though it's a dream, so that shouldn't count, but I wouldn't have known that, so that would count. I mean, I'm pretty strict with my failure states and stuff, but that, and then I died to the guy in the little punching match that we had in this very room. The title screen is weird in this game because it doesn't actually show you the, I mean, I guess this is the title screen now. It'll show you sort of the scene that you're at, first of all, but it will never say the name of the game actually in the game. Like, they're embarrassed that it sounds so cheesy and not impressive with the Great Circle. But yeah, what we have is I broke the format of it being like a hard permadeath set, and I'm only doing it in terms of I can die as many times as I want and I can start over and over, but I have to start from the beginning of the game. So if I die now in the next scene, I have to go back and do that tutorial scene again, and I'll skip the cutscenes and stuff, but that's what the penalty will be. So if I get super far in the game, I still have to restart from the very beginning. It is on very hard difficulty, and one thing I want to check is if I can raise the voice volume a little bit. The music and everything else sounds fine, but yeah, that's maybe what I should do. Maybe make it 90, and I think everything else should be fine. I assume it just saves it automatically. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and probably have some story sequences here. Like, we won't get right into combat now, but it started with that stupid fist fight then, right? We had somebody lurking around in the museum, and then whatever, we get our ass kicked. I got my ass kicked for real and had to restart because I died, but then we also got our ass kicked even in universe because we get knocked out, and it's like a plot armor moment where he doesn't finish us off, so he's gonna turn out to be a good guy who needs our help later, or I don't know. But game slots don't really matter, so yeah, that's the variation with this one. But generally speaking, with this new 1 a month permadeath first playthrough format that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to not make it like that. So I just felt like an idiot that, I would have wasted $70, that, I die and then that's it, I can't play it again, and I just did that for like 1 episode session, right? Like, that's the worst when you die on the first episode. At least if I do it for a couple days and then I die somewhere in the middle, you got something out of it. But that is normally how I want to treat it. So again, Slitterhead is the more conventional thing. If I die, it's over, I can't play it again for 6 months to a year, and that's it, right? This one is going to be, I can die as much as I want, but I just have to restart at the beginning of the game. And for whatever reason, I'm a clown who needs to do that. That's kind of cool how it segues right into that. I kind of want to play in third person, though. There should be the option. I mean, it feels weird, actually, for this kind of game to be in first person. So I was getting a little, oh, whoops. How do you, like, put that away? V, I guess? Or wait. Or he just auto does it. Whoops.
We can find out what's missing.
Or yeah, he assumed they took something, but they could have just made a mess. I don't think we really saw him take anything. Ancient gods. Oh, here we go. We're going to read all the flavor because I guess we didn't go in this room. Or now I can read some of the flavor that I missed in terms of, let's just double check and verify that it is on 7 minutes ago. I guess just as soon as you go to the title screen. We could read some of the flavor text that I couldn't read because it was so dark if I really wanted to. And I tend to be very OCD completionist when I'm playing stuff for the first time, but perhaps I won't do that, or at least if you know that you can come back right to something, but it might not be the kind of game where you can do that. Just given the story pacing of it, probably I would assume you just go from one linear area to the next. You know, not every game needs to be an open world game, but there is a bit of a fallacy with that, like where, you know, any game can be an open world game in any genre, so it doesn't mean that an open world game is itself not necessarily a genre. 1640 BCE Egypt, statue depicting a ruler. Wow, really great description. We really need a degree and a professor to write this shit out. Ancient Egypt. Animal worship is frequent in many ancient religions, but none took it as seriously. Yeah, is there going to be like a romance option tree where you get to make choices there, like in Mass Effect and stuff? Because obviously there'll be some love interest and everything like that, and then they'll betray us later in some cliche moment. As did the ancient Egyptians, many of their gods are partially or entirely animalistic, such as the monkey Babi or the cat-headed warrior goddess Bastet. Mummifications of animals was a common act of worship, including those of beloved pets such as dogs and cats, and of birds such as the falcons and ibis. Many of those were votive offerings, gifts given to the gods. Others were food to be eaten in the afterlife. This link is between the commonplace and the eternal has echoes even in the Abrahamic religions, from the reliquaries taken from saints to common items such as the Holy Grail, given divine significance by association. Oh, here we go. This is going to be the whole episode. We'll just read all the flavor in this room. Statue of Sekhmet, ancient Egyptian glazed phalanx sculpture of the goddess Sekhmet. She's depicted here with the head of a lioness and the body of a woman. No, I prefer how they portray all these things in Smite. They give you like all this flavor text and lore, which presumably has to do with the real quote-unquote gods, but you know, they just copy paste it from some Wikipedia article probably about that god, like Aphrodite is this and that. She's depicted here with the head of a lioness and the body of a woman, and she was known as the goddess of war and protector of the throne. Yeah, who's the goddess of war in that? Bellana, I guess, is the one. I made the joke like, there's no difference between Aphrodite and Bellana because all is fair in love and war, because obviously one's the goddess of love and one's the goddess of war. I can't read this because of the stupid glare. Offering table. I love how they do this. I forget how you like zoom in. I was trying to do that by right clicking, but you keep punching. Offering table, 7 cavities have been made at the top, intended to hold the sacred oil. From left to right, they are celebratory salve, laudation oil, balm, neck, hennem oil, tuat oil, top grade cedar oil, and top grade Libyan oil. And oh wow, statue of Osiris according to religious beliefs. That doesn't really help. According to religious beliefs, Osiris, god of the underworld, has suffered death and resurrected. This will literally be the whole episode because I don't even have that much time to do these. But that's the one downside where I've been avoiding it so much. Like, you know, whatever. I only played Slitterhead twice in a whole month. I've only played this now twice in like 3 or 4 days. So it's just not something unless I have a lot of time, I don't feel like doing it typically. So I'll just play chess or some other filler category, but whatever. As the god of the underworld had suffered death and resurrection, thus he was believed to control the regenerative force of the Nile River. In this conventional representation, Osiris wears the crown of the Upper Egypt flanked by 2 plumes and a ceremonial beard. In his arms crossed over his chest, he grapes. He grasps the crook, staff with a curved end, and flail, manual threshing device, symbolic of the pharaoh's authority. 2400 BCE Egypt. Egyptian false door, a false door built into the west wall of the tomb chapel, was the focal point of the cult of the deceased in the ancient Egypt. This was the interface between the world of the living and the world of the dead, where visitors came to say prayers and deposit offerings for the spirit of the deceased, whose soul could pass through the door. 7th, 6th century BCE Egypt. Faience baboon. The baboon was usually associated with Thoth, one of the gods. This animal has a hole in the crown that once held a lunar disc sitting on top of a crescent moon, an attribute of Thoth. For a 2,600-year-old artwork in its remarkable condition, and though the animal is small in size, its posture and expression command authority. Begone Thoth, ha ha ha. I don't know if that's actually how you say it though, if it would really sound like that. Thoth. I can't fucking read. Look at the glare. The glare is actually kind of realistically annoying, to be honest. Tomb steel acquired in... I don't know, I can't read that one. I mean, this is a pretty good way to show flavor, though, like I was saying even last time, but thankfully some of them are destroyed, so we won't have as much flavor text to read. But no, we totally could go back. Like, let me just try to show an example. I read most of the flavor text here, right, in this laborious fashion, but some of it I couldn't see because it was so dark. You kind of had to concede to the fact that, I don't know. Hussar armor. Let's go to this one here. This isn't going to have much of a description, though. Decorated sarcophagus. Statue depicting a ruler. Like, I wonder how the story of this game is going to compare to the movies. Like, is it going to actually be better or worse? Because, you know, sometimes I feel like games get a light pass with that. Like The Last of Us, just, oh wow, greatest story ever told in a game, and people are losing their minds and blah blah blah. Like, compared to a movie, it wouldn't be bad if it was a movie, but it wouldn't be, you know, celebrated in the way that it was as a game. Like, we act like it's a novelty when a story of a game is actually good or fleshed out or whatever, realistic. Like Children of Men was a good movie. It's not a masterpiece, but it's like the same story, where instead of Ellie being immune to the virus or whatever, right, it's the case that there's only like one girl left, one woman left, and that's the only way you could reproduce or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but that is kind of the same thing, that this special girl is this.
Don't usually make appointments.
Oh, we're getting...
I thought you'd given up on the fertility idol, Indiana.
People died for that thing, Marcus. Can't just let it go.
Fertility idol. Is that because that's what I'm looking at or what? We're getting different flavor now because I'm looking at something different, I guess. 3rd, 2nd century African figurines.
We should find them all and see what's been taken.
18th century Africa, 3 crossbeam cross. 18th century Africa, balafon musical instrument. African wooden mask, 16th century.
Exhibits are all over the floor.
Bow harp musical instrument, 17th century Africa. 18th century Africa, sanza musical instrument. 18th century Africa, Nadomi wooden dance shield. Again, just always remember when you question like why I'm doing this, it's like an absolutist tendency. Either if something's worth doing, it's worth doing in full. Otherwise, don't do it at all. So like, if I'm going to play the game, I'm going to do this and look at every little thing that's there, or otherwise I just won't even play the game. You know, I got to go one extreme or the other. And it's like somebody took the time to put all this in there and do the research to make it make sense. And it's all real references to stuff, I'm sure. So like, you know, somebody took the time to put it in there. So it's there for a reason. So you should look at it. 18th century Africa, Dombo musical instrument. Yeah, let's keep searching as I'm just driving around reading this. Africa, a continent of culture. Much is made of the influence of Christian and European values on Africa, but the influence of the art and cultures of this continent have had on us is worthy of study. The Moors of Maghreb once ruled much of Western Europe, after all, and their influence can still be seen from Spain to Italy. Even now, the traditional art of the continent has been said to influence the contemporary Western artists such as Max Weber and Pablo Picasso. Recent archaeological evidence suggested that all humanity could have originated from Africa. Yeah, well, I would say that's obvious. Just like they don't know the answer. They don't know the answer to the... Wow.
But the corridors just somewhere else.
We're getting a decent amount of flavor from that too that we might miss out on if we went through this too quickly. But what was I saying? Like there was a thing earlier that said we don't know how the dinosaurs went extinct, because that's putting us in the time period that this is taking place, like where they would have, you know, the knowledge base they would have had then. You can't go by today's standard. So the same thing here, like could have originated from Africa. Like that's pretty well known now.
Guess this wasn't a simple break-in. There's more going on here.
Well, even if it is, shouldn't you still report it to the police? Food for thought, perhaps, for those willing to dismiss the continent's relevance. Yeah, who is dismissing the relevance of Africa in all entirety?
For you as soon as I woke up. I'm so glad you're all right.
Yeah, I was only choked out.
Worse.
Yeah, but you didn't survive being rolling over by that boulder in the beginning, did you? Because that was just a dream. Or did you survive getting hit by the spikes when I was a clown and my run should have ended right there? Or did you survive getting beat up by this guy in a different way? Oh, I get beat up by him and I die, but then I get beat up by him and I live, and the story goes on. Like, it's the same scenario, but just, oh, I have to do it in the scripted way that the game wants me to do it. Goddamn glare. Even the game's getting sick of me reading all this. Ibis, a statuette of Ibis was taken. Oh wow, man. How do I do it? Dynasty statue, olive lamp, head of a ruler. He seems okay with it though, because he's just standing there looking at it the whole time. Mummy of a cat, Horwedra, and Ram of something. Ruler from Saqqara. Yeah, who said video games can't be educational? Half of a twin capital. No, but this game kind of came out of nowhere to my awareness. Like, I hadn't heard anything, and it just suddenly comes on the scene, and I've seen ads for it now, and it seems like a big deal, but, like, I don't know. It didn't seem like there was much hype leading up to it, or I guess I kind of keep myself in the dark, though, on purpose. Head of Amenhotep. Statue up. Yeah, we need Joe Rogan out here with his little podcast herself, always talking about two things. You go to any clip and you don't even need to specify it's Joe Rogan. If it involves bears, it's Joe Rogan talking about bears. Or if it's talking about, oh, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? It's a conspiracy. It was the aliens who did it, all this kind of stuff. You know, how were the pyramids built? It's impossible. They couldn't have done it. Sitting on wooden pedestal, personification of thought, patron of the tribes, legendary inventor, hieroglyphic writing. Thought was also the god of magic and a healer in consequence. The statue comes from what? Hieronymus, which is the place of his worship. Holy shit, that one was really hard to read. We gotta wait for it to get to nighttime in game before we can go through this. Don't you think this is a bit of a bad thing for business and everything? Like, you have such a bad glare in here that anytime anybody tries to read the exhibits, they can't. In like a normal everyday sense. Of course, we already know them all since we're literally the one behind it, but 2300 to 1550, that's quite a wide range. Vessel with a black rim, cylindrical vessel. This is canopic jars. But no, how cool would this be if it was like an open world game where you go from like tomb to tomb, and it, you know, like how the beginning sequence indicated, where it wouldn't be like a game that relies on story and structure. It would just be like you go around an open world and you just explore and do random treasure hunting freely, which is unfortunately probably not what it's going to be like at all, but that would be a very cool genre kind of game. Decorated steel, 1200 BC, tombstone, funerary cones, canopic jars. We're going back to middle school with this one, all this kind of stuff that you probably would have learned there, but I don't remember hardly any of it.
What's missing?
Oh, this most conspicuous case is completely doesn't even have much flavor in it. Statue depicting a ruler. I love that.
I think we should
Statue depicting a ruler.
be and see what was stolen.
All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do that last, the broken ones, because then it might actually accidentally advance the story. So which ones didn't I look at then? On this side, I think we've done most of them. So let's go from like left to right then. We'll go from here in a second. And this game was having the issue where you couldn't alt tab out, like Bethesda games typically do. But let me actually look one thing up. Is it made by Bethesda or is it just like produced by Bethesda the way that like Doom was and stuff? I'm pretty sure. Bethesda, let me see here. They have their fingerprints on a lot of big IPs though that, you know, beyond their own obviously. You know, we're waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. Everybody's hyped for GTA 6, but I would be way more excited for Elder Scrolls 6, honestly. Let's see. Games published. See, that's a little bit different than Starfield. Yeah, I never played that actually at all. Redfall, Hi-Fi Rush, Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop, Prey. Yeah, they keep doing that, like where they'll take some big series or like that's being like remade, Wolfenstein, and they'll sort of take over it. The Doom series, 2012. Wait, why is it 2012? Oh, I guess that actually is it. Dishonored, but I mean Dishonored is their own thing. But that was still Arcane Studios. The way that I would really have to play stuff like this is because I like to take my time so much is like I do one really exhaustive
We should find them all.
hasn't he said that in like every single one, like that piece was from this but this one's not even touched, so I don't know if I'm breaking the scripting by waiting so long, taking so long. But no, it's like what you would do is you would do like just one very small section or one small scene per episode and like really take my time with it, the same way that
I thought you'd given up on the fertility idol, Indiana.
People died for that thing, Marcus. Can't just let it go.
like I don't know. Yeah, he wants a fertility idol for some different reason, if you know what I mean. No, but the point is, you know, I think of a game like Heavy Rain or something. Like I would do like one scene
Thrashing?
if I did like this,
I'm all right.
that kind of game. I would do
Smelling salts.
one scene.
You never know when you might happen upon a damsel in distress.
Where'd he go? Oh yeah, there is like a stealth system in this game and everything that we'll have to get used to. But no, you do like literally just one scene, and that's the whole thing because you take your time and do it in such exhaustive fashion, so you don't feel like you're in a rush. Okay, what does this say? Raya and Tha. This statue shows Raya, official in the Temple of Tha, the chief god of the city of Memphis. Raya holds a god shrine with a statue of him in it. Haven't been this worried about Memphis since John Moran went out with a gun and trolled everybody. 1196 to 1070 BCE. And this is Tijari and Hathor. Tijari was a high official who worked in a palace in the city of Memphis. There had to be a statue made of himself. He had the statue made of himself. In front of his kneeling figure is a shrine, a kind of sacred box in which a symbol of the goddess Hathor is depicted.
Come right out of the cabaret.
That bad, is it?
Ancient Egypt, a pyramid society. Ancient Egyptian society. Just one time in a game when you take this long, I wanted to actually do something. Like, it'll just advance the scene or it'll punish you or you'll game over because of it. Or like some, you know, don't just let me do this, but it's there for a reason. Oh, he's going to go again with the flavor.
I was here in the college, but the corridors just went round and round.
Yeah, but for you, it wasn't a dream
You were there
when you got knocked out by that guy. And he was really a giant,
somewhere else.
as Indiana called him. I don't know if he's called him in this episode, but in the last cutscene, he even said like a giant. I don't remember seeing a giant, but you can see his giant footprints everywhere. Ancient Egyptian society was one of stratification, a societal pyramid. Farmers, the very interesting choice of word there. Farmers, the largest class, were near the bottom, growing produce that would be owned by the priests and the nobles. Great armies of workers toiled to build the great wonders such as the Sphinx. Above them were the artists and the artisans. Then were the viziers, the priests, and the priestesses. At the pinnacle is the pharaoh, the king of the land, and a literal god after death. The first writing of the term literal god ever that we always see on Twitch. Like, I don't know who uses it a lot. Like Asmongold would always say that when he does something impressive or something.
Simple break-in.
Literal god after death.
Going on here.
Yet his power was only the product of each layer beneath him. To have a holistic view of history means looking beyond the great men to those who built them. Yeah, but those ones are expendable and replaceable easily. That's why. That's how it works. It's always like the standard of like, oh, police officers should get paid more money than professional athletes, but it's a supply and demand issue. Like, nobody's arbitrarily saying that, oh, we want to pay police officers or somebody less than an athlete, but it's just, oh, they generate more money, so therefore they make it. Whereas with all due respect, even to those people or like armed forces, etc., it's still a lot more broad, right? You have police officers in every town in the country, in every city, right? Whereas with athletes, you only have a handful at the highest level in the professional league, right? So it's very, very different that way. So it's dictated by other factors. Ramses statue from the inscription stand. We know I'm probably the only person who's ever done this, although I mean the game just came out, but eventually somebody would. I call this the Lauren the Flute treatment, where she played Dark Souls 1 like this, that I kind of liked. She's kind of like me in terms of the RP and the whole immersive aspect, which she's not like me when it comes to skill and high level gameplay, of course, wink wink, because clearly I'm just in a different league from everybody that way. But from the inscription on the stand, we know that the statue represents Ramses VI and probably stood in the temple of the god Amun in the Thebes. It reads, "Long live the perfect god, son of Amun, the protector, the bull of Thebes, the king of the upper and lower Egypt, lord of the lands, Mirianium, lord of truth." 1295 BCE. Maya and Merit. The couple statue was painted and shows a man and a woman sitting on a chair with lion's feet. They seem wanting to be waiting to be served food and drink. The woman has wrapped her left arm tenderly around her husband. We know from the inscriptions that the double image depicts Maya and Merit. Okay, now we go to the ones that are... Or no, we're still not there. God damn it. 970 B. Well, this will be the only time we probably see this museum the whole game, I bet. So, unless maybe in a cutscene, we'll probably leave here on an adventure and never come back. So we better make it worth our while. Memorial fragment. This fragmentary small memorial stone was erected to worship a deity. The preserved right half of the stone shows a man in a long apron and a woman in a long dress. And this is fragment of an ancient Egyptian temple wall. I mean, by this logic, you could just take any structure, like, yeah, just take entire walls, just break down the pyramid so you could put them in each portion of it in a display cabinet. Temple capital. Like, how do you decide what you can and can't take? Current exhibitions, the afterlife in art and archaeology, Egyptology and archaeology wing, Animalia and man, anthropology and natural science wing. Upcoming exhibitions, Mesopotamian pottery, ancient traps and weapons, biblical myths. Yeah, we could use some of those ancient traps and weapons ourselves, or even just like a gun that we could have dealt with, this clown over here, or our whip, or literally anything. So we can see a couple things to interact with. It makes it pretty clear with the way it highlights stuff. I remember seeing that in some earlier section. Something was highlighted super conspicuously. At least this one, we don't have to laboriously read the flavor. We should take some damage from that, actually, because we just hit the glass. I struck the glass. It shattered bones in my fist. What is that song from? $1 Million Prize, if you guessed right. Which I've kind of forgotten myself. Saint Anna. It's some band I listened to like when I was in high school.
Well, this wasn't what I expected when you asked me down from New York.
What, the fact that I would be reading flavor text for an hour and making you wait here like an NPC clown that you are? Temper your cuneiform. Can you name all 30 symbols?
Can't just let it go.
Okay, so we got one thing there, one thing there, one thing there. I'm just like super particular about like, oh, I don't want to make it advanced unless I've done every single thing that you can do. Which in the, like, yeah, let's try to keep going. For example,
I'm all right.
is he gonna let me do that? I keep doing that as if I'm trying to interact with something. Yeah, how far is he gonna let me go? Or it'll let me go back too, which you might think isn't substantial, but
Feel sorry for whoever has to clean up this mess before Monday.
I remember that time the doctoral student snuck pigs into Dawson's office?
Ah, yes. I suppose it could be worse.
the whole thing is that yeah, like we could go back and you might think it wouldn't have significance because we've already been there, but because now it's in the daytime and not, you know, so I don't know, like maybe there are different things to interact with that we couldn't interact with before. Only thing we could interact, man, there were a bunch of chessboards in the other room too. But this one isn't like a proper position that we could potentially judge who's winning or losing, since I'm such a chess aficionado and expert. Or yeah, I'm totally just stalling to get more money's worth out of the game, as if it was a permadeath first playthrough, because, oh, if I drag out a segment like this, at least I get more gameplay time if I know I'm going to die on some combat encounter later. So it's like, you try to drag out everything that you can do as much as possible. But there's a deeper meaning to that actually is a good philosophy. Like, you might learn something from flavor or messing around with mechanics if you are super slow and laborious, that might end up saving your life or helping you later, right? So there's an immersive element like that where you kind of have to treat it like real life. Like if you were really in a situation like that, any sort of, you know, gameplay scenario, but you were in real life and you knew if you died then it's all over forever, you would take it a bit more seriously than you would the way you play a normal game. This is weird how much freedom it's actually giving me.
Nearly. I was going to take my students on a field trip. Get their heads out of books for a while.
Go easy on them. They have a lot on their plate during midterms.
Let's see how much flavor we can get out of this. That looks almost emo worthy. I like that. Sumer antediluvian material found at site 2. I don't know. I guess I'll just start randomly picking stuff up. I was trying to wait and pick them up in a certain order. The break-in. Cat mummy notes. Artifact 21 Siwa. Beautifully crafted cat mummy. Odd piece discovered in an unmarked tomb in the Mountain of the Dead. Characteristics of craftsmanship usually found in tombs of wealthy people. Unusually lightweight. X-ray. There's something odd about this cat mummy. Can't quite put my finger on it. Meet Marion, Hotel Redmont, October 2nd, 7 p.m.
That's where I put those.
Plus 15 adventure points. What is this mechanic going to be like? We level up based on what we do? Yeah, I'm trying not to do that exhibit part deliberately. And the reason why is because then it might advance the story and I might miss all this, or I hate when games do that, but I mean, you know, there's going to be a lot of optional stuff you can do.
This kid with his apples. Save that for later.
That'll be like a healing item. I love how he's just accompanying us for whatever moral support here with whatever we're doing. The break-in, Bajorkin's letter. My dear Professor Jones, I wanted to thank you humbly for sending me your letter. Your findings undoubtedly piqued my interest, and I'm glad that you are eager to help us retrieve the Uppsala scroll. Of course, many years have now passed since we lost ownership of it, but I have reason to believe that an ancient and very dangerous cult is behind the theft of Miss Lawrence. There are rumors that one of its members owns a old castle on west of Sigtuna. If you have the time and opportunity, you are more than welcome to join me so that we can try to find the Uppsala scroll together. I can arrange accommodations for you and your potential companions at the centrally located Saint... Why is it written like that? And then, what the hell? Purse Gatan 10 here in Uppsala. I look forward to your reply. Sincerely, Professor. Yeah, I'd rather read it like on the right side here, but I'd love to see anybody actually try to do that. Hard mode reading challenge. Let me try to read the last part of it. Or no, it's not even written in English, though. Whatever. I look forward to your reply. Sincerely, Professor August Bjorkman, Uppsala University, October 16th. So we're not only getting it in this like immersion breaking, typed out text on the left, but we're also getting it translated for us. You always got to check the back of everything. 15 adventure points. That seems like a bit of a gimmicky mechanic, honestly, the way they're presenting it, especially in a setting like this. Like, I'm just doing it for flavor. You don't have to... Oh, I didn't see that, actually, the first time. Shirley's letter, the break-in. Well, the break-in is just a chapter. It's not like it's addressing it to this... It doesn't say that on each of these things. Dear Mr. Jones, I barely got any sleep last night. I was very lonesome and cold all night. This is the reason why I was late this morning and missed your thesis on the Neolithic decline. It's rather wait, but how is this written here? Because this morning I didn't do anything. I just woke up in that room, knocked out. This must be from yesterday. This is the reason I was late this morning, missed your thesis on Neolithic decline. It's rather devastating to me, and I wanted to ask you if you provide private tuition in hope that you could go through it again with me, Shirley. At least she's being all like a suck up about it. It's so devastating, and she's such a teacher's pet kind. That sounds almost genuine, just in my psychology expertise, judging just from the written word, right? That she's not doing that just to suck up. Okay, so what we can do is we can basically wait, didn't I go in one of these rooms before? Where was that he was telling the story about something being broken or some other prank? Oh, I went like so far. I've kind of lost track. So the point is I'm probably sequence breaking it a little bit. Like, you're not meant to be doing this before you do the other shit, but let's see. We should have the apple in our inventory here as well. Bjorkman's letter, Shirley's letter, cat mummy notes. And then if we do this, caps lock is like the map. You don't really need a map for an area like this, though, even though I am just kind of getting lost. But I don't get lost in games. I get lost in them, as in, like, you want to get a little immersed, and I don't want to know everything. Like, I hate when people are like that. Another new release, Path of Exile 2, where people are very much like that, where they'll sort of... I keep doing that by mistake. Like hindsight bias, and they want to look stuff up and borrow knowledge, and then at the same time they'll complain about, oh, modern gaming isn't fun anymore, games used to be so much better. But it's not that. It's that everybody looks everything up and then acts like, oh, everything's so easy and a foregone conclusion, and everybody's using the same build and it's so boring. But when you're using borrowed knowledge and doing that and metagaming, min-maxing everything, then you can't complain that that's the result. Strange Eon. See, now this one we can at least read on the thing itself. The thrilling adventure of Joe the archaeologist, Strange Aeons, lost expedition journey into the unexplored. With only a throw net and his trusty slingshot, he explores the world, the wild corners of the earth.
Comic books. New fad on campus.
At least that was related to, not really a bad fad, though. Chess Club, Marshall Hall needs your talent. It should let us role play a game out, though. Yeah, now I can judge these positions accurately. As I was trying to guesstimate who was winning each one. I did this in, I'm pretty sure it was Alien Isolation, where we had that moment. I took the time to do that. I guess I may as well, since it's in the daylight now. So we're kind of retracing our steps a little bit. Right, this is where we started, where we were kind of taking a nap or something. Right, we were in here, and then we... Well, that kind of scared me a little bit with the music and seeing it kind of out of there. I guess we were in here.
Maybe he got out the same way he came in.
That makes sense.
But no, like that letter referencing the morning and the lecture, that must be from yesterday, because... Yeah, I want this third-person perspective all the time, at least as an option.
Marcus, help me out here.
Coming, Indiana.
Now, will I miss out on some other thing? Because now this is actually kind of a story moment instead of me just derping around.
Don't mention it.
Okay, we'll leave that. There's a little sparkling thing up there, like a necklace. So that's kind of where we started. Marshall College, graduate school for archaeology. To all whom these letters shall come, greetings. Trustees of the college, on the recommendation of the faculty and by virtue of the authority of them vested in the state by the state of Connecticut, have conferred on Ernest Haynes the degree of archaeology PhD with all the rights and privileges, honors appertaining, given Marshall College in the state of Connecticut on the 20th day of June in the year 1932. Presented to Marshall College an outstanding recognition of our knowledge of the ancient past, 1925. Yeah, I like when it's just barely legible or illegible, so then I don't have to feel bad for skipping reading it or something. I'm kind of overdoing it a little bit here, but I mean, this is kind of a major location that deserves to be... Is this the one we went into where he was saying something? No, this is somewhere else.
Splitting headache after burning the midnight oil last night.
I told you didn't have to stay.
Nonsense. I wouldn't abandon a friend in need.
And you have a splitting headache because you literally got choked out by that guy, so which is worse? We don't exactly sympathize with you there. Temple of the Forbidden Eye, look not into the eyes of Mara, and you shall gain admission to the temple of your greatest secret desire. Beware the false pathways that lead to death. Beware the deadly booby traps that lurk within. Hey, you could have told me that in the tutorial, because that's exactly what we were dealing with. That scene was both awesome and super cliche at the same time. It's hard to explain. The intro with the two guys following you, and then one tries to betray you, and like it had every trope imaginable. Or if it was in a movie, you would almost say it's so bad it's good and kind of laugh, but I don't know. That is one trope that I'm going to keep bringing up, I guess, is that, oh shit, we get the whip. Rule number one, never leave home without the whip, but even when you're at home here, you didn't bring it with you in terms of this reminds me of like LA Noire, how you can just rotate objects frivolously, as if you're looking for a clue. You should have had that shit with you when you were getting attacked. What good does it do you here? Like, you were too complacent in your home. That's the lesson. But you still won't keep it with you in case something else happens. Like, come on. Gramophone record. Prince Jimmy and his orchestra, rhythm and blues series of superior recording, speed 78 RPM, not licensed for radio broadcast. The Gramadec Manufacturing Company, made and patented in the U.S. 1926. Nothing to really interact with there. I mean, you might think, oh, it's very clear with what you can pick up, but it's just like, I'm also just looking at what's there, period. Nobody is this thorough with anything. Warriors of the Clouds, My Journey Through the Ruins of the Kakapoyan Culture by Maria Smirnova. Or it's always interesting to think like how much, like what if it was a game where you could interact with every single thing and read every single book, or at least where every book has a name or something on it, right? Every book is like upside down, so they don't have to worry about animating that. But I always pick on that, like in Edith Finch, they have all these books, but then a lot of them start to repeat, or there's some other issue with it. I'm trying to remember now where we started from there. Okay, so let me retrace my steps from this. So the two main things we have to interact with is obviously we have to put the cases back in order, and then we have to check out that medallion at the top. Right, but I'm trying to get to the threshold where we're about to do something, but then not actually do it. Because this is like a nurse's office or something.
Worse for wear, Indiana.
Must be something here to patch me up.
I'm sure the nurse won't mind you helping yourself.
Let's see what kind of flavor we can get from this. This would be cool as a mechanic if we could keep it with us the whole game, so no matter where we are, we can always just listen to it. We should just keep the music running at the best possible frequency. Or we'll just keep it with us for
Just what I needed.
just well, you need it, but you're not going to use it. You're just going to keep it. Or no, we are low on health though, so I guess there's some relevance to that. Why not use the apple instead? Do we do it again? Is that really? Oh shit! I wasted it. That's to do with stamina, not health. I guess now I know. Yeah, let's see. Can we take this eye test from the furthest part of the room? Use the eye test to measure the draw distance of the game. Like, I can't see shit, dude. How far can I actually go? E, C, B, D, L, N, P, T, E, R. And then I can almost see that. Like, F, T, E, D, E. Oh, shit. I was wrong even about that. Yeah, I guess Indiana does need his glasses after all. That he only sometimes wears. I don't know if this would be better or worse if you were like super into the series, because I you know, I've seen some of the older movies, but I'm not like super well versed on it. Ribcage, can't even read that one. Spine, oculus, nerve, something, iris, maxilla. Denties, teeth, obviously. Gutter, iris, canal, iris, lungs, atrium, cordis. Yeah, well, one of those big mistakes in language usage that goes against the absolutist tendency of naming things for function. Like, oh, let's use Latin for medical terms or for legal words just to sound smart. Like, it doesn't actually serve any purpose to do that. Right, just that they're kind of grandfathering in something in the form that it was originally stated, or I don't know what the good explanation for that actually is, but it doesn't tell you anything about it. Right, like where the name should inherently have in it something to do with its use and function. Oh wait, we can interact with that apparently, couldn't we? Yeah, I saw it glowing there. What? What the fuck? So I guess I can just carry this around. I don't know why we would need it, or unless we have something we intend to do with it right now. Weird. How do I put it down even? Oh, I should let you have destructible environments in here. Destructible objects. Yeah, I can't escape a chess reference though. Anywhere I go, I always find some way to talk about it. Wait, this must have been the first thing that I didn't look at. Black Shirts article, Mussolini's Black Shirts rule Rome with iron fist. All volunteer militia enforce Mussolini's doctrine of fascism on the streets, but some call them thug. Yeah, just wait until you see what happens in the 21st century, how they use the word fascist for anybody they don't like everybody, American liberals, am I right? The MVSN, commonly known as the Black Shirts, is not an uncommon sight on the streets of Rome, where they parade around in all-black attire, spreading the ideals of the fascist government. Many citizens view them as a uniting force, while others are hesitant to voice their true opinions of the Camicie Neri.
Black shirts. Thugs harassing innocent people.
Yeah, what's your, what is he, a woke, uppity type that he's trying to be all self-righteous about it? He seems the type to be sort of indifferent. He doesn't care about that. He wants to just go on another exciting adventure. These are like different weapon types that you could potentially use, but I don't really know if we have like a special function. Like, let me use this to actually clean the floor. That's honestly what you'd be thinking of doing. But I don't know. It hasn't really told me to do it. I don't know what this is meant to be. If you hit V, it does that. So I think the only two things we haven't done are putting the exhibit back together and doing the medallion thing with the at the top of the window. And it's gonna take us like the whole session, but hey, this is how we play stuff, and it's okay. And this is how seriously you should take it when you only have one life. Not that this is really a combat intensive moment, but if it was, you know, this is how serious you should be every second. There was some game where I did that was actually very rewarding. I played it like super. I can't remember if it really had a stealth system, but like I would play it like this the whole time, and I would go through every area like this and be like super anal about it, and it actually worked out, and I didn't die. I can't remember what it was. Was it like? It was a long time ago. I was being like super particular about it, and almost to the point where it was annoying, and it seemed like I was trolling. Like I would go through every room, even if there was no enemy there or anything, and I would just be like super particular. But that's the level of commitment you have to have sometimes. I can't tell that if I'm going in circles or not sometimes. This place is pretty big. But of course, this guy who broke in could just easily navigate it better than us. So yeah, the only thing I should need to do now is these two. Let's do the medallion, then we'll put the exhibit back, and we'll call it a day. All in a day's work. So it's something about the jump. Or yeah, we made a jump without the whip, right? We used the whip to like fly, you know, swing across the gap in the dream sequence, but then we managed to make that jump without the whip, which seemed totally unrealistic, as we saw in the last session. A giant's pendant, a mysterious pendant. It must have been left behind by the giant who broke in the college.
Keep searching.
J to look at the map and the objective. I don't want to experience fall damage from that. No, I like the presentation. See, it's important in a game like this if the game takes itself like pretty seriously. Yes, there can be a couple jokes and things here and there, but like this is the kind of game that should embrace that, where it plays it straight as though it was an actual movie or something. Like don't fall back. I don't know why that feels like such a problem in game storytelling. Like they'll fall back on, oh, but it's a game, so we're gonna somehow, I don't know how to explain it. The modern era has gotten better about that, but it'll sort of cop out. There'll be something like Until Dawn is a great example. The game is so good and can be taken so seriously, and then at the end, oh, the Wendigo did it, and it turns into like some sort of something that it didn't need to be. Where, I don't know, it goes into that where the game wasn't really even hinting at that too much. Or it didn't have to be presented quite like that, I guess. I think I'm just kind of going in a circle. I'm trying not to use the map at all, in fact. As if it should really matter. Like, how much time are you really going to spend here that you need to have a map of it? Okay, so we're good there. Let's just go ahead and put the exhibit back together. We did the bandage, and then we wasted the apple just because we have quite a lot of stuff in here. In fact, we're gonna run out of room if that's all we got. Or maybe that's to tell you how many things there are to find in a particular area. Okay, we got one thing to do. I mean, again, nobody really plays games like this, just period, ever. But you know, I'm not saying it's even a good thing, or I'm not saying other people have to do it, but if you're gonna do it, to me, that's how it works. The only thing I regret is that I don't have too much time these days, so if I do it like this, I'll never beat the game, even if I play it every day for the whole month until the next one, right? Every month I'm trying to do one new game. I'll never beat it even then. Like, literally, look at what I've done in an hour, you know, session, that this is what it's gonna be. And that's fine with me. It would mean more if it was a true permadeath run, because then I, you know, would feel a bit more validated. But again, I made an exception for this game, but I'm not necessarily going to make a routine or habit of that. I'm going to
Tell me about it.
I'm going to Bastet statue of the ancient Egyptian goddess Bastet as lioness. Oh, look at him, he's reading the flavor text almost as well as me, except the flavor text is in his head. Oh, you're gonna have to figure out for yourself where to put it. Puzzle solving moment. If I guess wrong, then I if I guess wrong, I have to die and delete my save.
Terracotta, likely Babylonian out of Iraq.
Why are you saying likely when it's your museum, dude? You're here all the time. I'm actually a little unsure that which is. There's only 2 that are open. I want to make sure I'm 100% right on each one. This should be a failure state, like losing to a puzzle in Professor Layton. I'm assuming.
Funerary mask goes here.
Grand.
Just because it has to do, it's a little bit vague actually. It's not super obvious, right? It's not telling you exactly what it is. Or what, we have to put the actual platform back on there. So one of these things isn't going to fit. I like that it's sort of letting you do this. Cuneiform. What would match with the cuneiform thing? I don't really get that. You have 3 objects here, but you have 4 of those. So there's something else I'm not seeing. 1, 2, 3. That's weird. Or, oh, I mean, I guess that would be the one that he had taken, I guess. I guess that we just don't care about. But no, but he had taken one, and then there's also this one missing. Right, the whole pedestal for it. So I guess we were right about that one. These ones I have no idea, though. Or he even gave me a clue, I guess. A Babylonian thing, whatever, Bastet. I don't know what would go along with that.
Look at this. Ugaritic letters.
Ugarit. It must be from Ras Shamra in Syria.
Is that gonna give away like just the location of it? I'm not gonna recognize the flag. I don't know. This is a very hard puzzle. Like, this is obviously going to be. This is probably this one.
The Bastet statue goes in the Egyptian section.
Looks right, Indian.
The way he said that was so like disappointed. So this one is to do with Syria, which I don't know really what we have to go on with that. I feel like the cuneiform one is probably the one that's missing. This could go here, I guess. How are you supposed to know this one? Probably some clue that he gave.
So, that's where the relief belonged.
Am I actually right every single time?
No. This
No, fuck. I jinxed it. How would you...
Ah, well done, Indiana. So, is everything back?
Not quite.
Well, what's missing? SW 003. What was that?
Siwa expedition. He took the cat mummy, Marcus. But why?
That facial expression was a little bit comical. He took the cat mummy. He's saying it like it's a big deal. Like he knows something.
Figure this out.
Good idea.
That should be like a strike system.
Still a cat mummy.
It was a beautiful piece. You found it in Siwa, didn't you?
Yeah, 6 weeks ago.
It says recent ivory case, duck-shaped cosmetics carved in ivory and augmented with Ugaritic letters found in Ugarit, Syria, 1931. Like, it made sense because he said that. Like, oh, it has to do with Ugaritic symbols. He mentioned that, but You know, that should be some sort of a mini failure state in itself, that you should try to do that without making a mistake. Funerary gold mask. I like the emphasis on puzzle solving, even in an inconsequential way like that. You could just do it by trial and error, but funerary gold mask from Ham, Syria. It's remarkably heavy given how small it is. And this is the one obviously that's missing. And this is
Yes.
terracotta relief, Babylonian terracotta plaque in high relief depicting a goddess-like figure flanked by trees. It's from the Isin Larsa period. Bastet statue of ancient Egyptian goddess Bastet as a lioness. So I was right on every single one except for one of them, even though he gave me the clue. Wait, what were you even trying to do again? Alright, we still got the stupid music playing. Well, we kind of explored everything unless something would change from moment to moment. Not only am I going to be OCD and try to look at everything all the time, but then, oh, maybe something's different now that we've done that. Like, oh, can I not climb that anymore? Right, like what if some different interaction or flavor opened up now as a result of doing that, but I don't know why it would even really. That looks sort of out of place. What is this on top? Why would that even be there? That looks so weird. This is not something you notice from behind. Oh, it's just like a fossil. It made it look like some intruder was perched on there. Okay, so we've explored this very satisfactorily. Let's just go ahead and see what he's up to now. We know what's missing at least. There is like a pseudo detective game element in this, but between what's going to be some puzzle solving, between what's going to be some like even that moment seemed kind of innocuous because there's no pressure to it, but that was still kind of cool how it lets you match them up and try to guess them and everything. They're having a lot of those QTE type moments like in the first sequence, but they're relatively inconsequential. You just like hit a button to do some basic interaction.
That looks Catholic to you, doesn't it?
It's the sigil of the Vatican Secret Archive, if I'm not mistaken.
This isn't just about a cat mummy, Marcus.
What are you going to do, Indiana?
I'll need my classes covered, of course.
Indiana,
Dawson seems the likely choice. Maybe Kittredge?
He's just looking for an excuse to go on an adventure.
someone's left you a gift. How long has that been in there?
I haven't opened this suitcase for a year. Not since Cairo.
That means that's like the last real expedition he's been on, but he said he just got something 6 weeks ago from one of those. No, I'm not going to open it. What did he say he got 6 weeks ago? I want to go back to that because that kind of contradicts what he just said. Like maybe that wasn't like a big expedition sort of for which he would need a suitcase, but he did just say that. But no, so it's been a year since he's done like a major expedition then, I guess. And yeah, that almost progressed a little too fast. He's just excited to go on an adventure and he's already like some one little statue goes missing and he's getting all hyped up. You know, you would almost expect, oh, he's going to be a little standoffish and then, okay, relent and say, okay, if I have to, I'll do it. Which one did he say?
Let me see here.
Or now he's not going to say it again. Or I think you can kind of look in a bit of a backlog. Navigation, puzzles, combat, welcome, main menu, difficulty level, journal, activities. They have all this, but they don't have whatever. One of these he said he got like 6 weeks ago. But I guess he didn't need the suitcase for that one. That's all we can conclude from it. It wasn't a suitcase worthy expedition. I don't know if that starts to drain your life away later if you over sprint when your stamina is depleted. And of course, a lot of these games don't give you even a proper stamina bar. Like Giant's Pendant, same thing. You got a book over here. Or no, I mean, it gives it to you, but then everything kind of goes away, so you can't always see it. Or maybe not. Yeah, like that. Cat mummy photograph. Found in Siwa in the summer. Everything always has something written on the back. Mummified cat found in Siwa, Mountain of the Dead, 7 September 37. Okay. Gramophone record. Okay, we've seen that. It'll be 100% flavor text run if nothing else, even though it won't be like a true first playthrough permadeath, because at least not in one attempt, because we've already died a couple times somehow. Like we're dying on every single interaction, combat or otherwise, that we come across, including the trap. That he even said, "Oh, stay out of the light," but I didn't understand what does the light have to do with it, and I still don't get it. Like, oh, you're in the light, like somebody's watching you and activating the spike on demand, but it's not. Warriors of the Clouds, my journey through the ruins. Okay, we've seen that.
It's a beautiful journal, isn't it? Who's it from?
Seems like an ordinary journal, but just the ribbon was nice. Marion's note for your next adventure, Marion. What do you mean, dude? He'll pick that shit up.
Oh, what are you packing? And just where are you planning on going?
Only the essentials.
Yeah, can you please bring a gun and your whip, because you're obviously a clown who should have had that ready. J, then E, and browse the journal. Catalogs clues, objects, photographs you find in your ventures.
Indiana? About Marion?
There's nothing to say, Marcus.
He's like me. The quiet approach. Even though lately I talk a lot more. Yeah, take this with you.
Gift.
She rang me. Did I tell you that? 2 months back, when you left for Siwa.
As if we really want to take that with us. Like, this is carrying light. Or do we get to go around the whole school and decide from there what to take with us? I really want a gun. Do you not have one or what, dude?
She was at her wit's end with you. I
Giant's
didn't know
Pendant
what
plus 15.
It wouldn't have made a difference. She had her mind made up.
What else do you want, dude? Only thing I care about is the whip. Or something from here, or something from somewhere else in the school. That is actually weird. I must be missing something obvious then. Or if we have something in our inventory, which all of it's actually gone now. What was the point of that? Like, we had so many things that we had collected by running around. Oh, we have to put on the lamp for some reason? Or we at least can. Take the pocket watch. Use it to hypnotize some enemy if you have to later on. One of your many tricks. He even saw us throw that paper right back at him. He's standing right there, but we're acting like, oh, you know, we don't know who wrote it. Use this if you need like an exorcism moment. Right? There is sometimes some supernatural stuff in these stories, even if it seems a little bit like they don't try to play into that too much. I'm genuinely not sure actually what else they would want you to take. There'll probably be just something else in a different room, I guess. What the heck? Or yeah, take one of those hidden whiskey bottles. And the biggest thing is just a gun that I would want you to take. Yeah, just the essentials. Like, why are you bringing that record like a clown? What good is that going to do you? And obviously, I'm the one who put it in there, but... Gotta be something else that we missed. We got the bandage from here. Oh yeah, put a crutch in there. Or what was the other thing we picked up that we could use like a weapon, like the little brush or something? What is the point in even having this? Yeah, will this fit in there? I mean, what the fuck? There was that little brush. Maybe we can take that. This is so weird. I don't want to use the journal or like a waypoint or something like that. Wasn't it in here? But now I moved it somewhere else and now I forgot what happened to it. I don't think that's something you would really need to take anyway, but you can't take any of these with you, obviously. You just look at them as far as flavor. And yeah, he almost seems sort of bored or like he's looking for adventure. Like he, at the drop of a hat, he found any excuse to try to do that. Like just leave on the spot. This is the hardest puzzle of all to figure out. First of all, where is your goddamn gun? Which apparently you maybe don't even have one. Or where is your, what else would it want me to take? Okay, nothing over there. Let's see. We've been through all these areas already. But this is part of the very hard difficulty aspect of the game, or even there's like the combat difficulty, but then there's also some other thing that's like on medium or low. Is this like another one of those brushes, or this one you can't pick up? Yeah, well, let us play a simulated game of chess against this guy though, and if I lose, it's a permadeath failure state still, as I often consider things to be. That are, you know, it doesn't always have to be that your character actually dies or, you know, combat related. It could just be you fail to solve a puzzle like in Professor Layton or something. We could turn on the lamp there, but I didn't really see anything too consequential there. Take our glasses with us. What? Gonna be something hidden somewhere, and I don't know what it is. You would think it would just be as simple as this, like you know, everything should just be right there. You shouldn't have to go to a different room or anything. I really don't want to use a waypoint or anything like that, but this is a little bit odd. We turn that on. We can't take anything here. I don't know why it even lets you do that. Oh, come on. Normally they would give you some flavor dialogue too. Like he'd say something. Shit. Maybe I sequence broke it somehow. I haven't seen anything else that you can even interact with. This should be a failure state, that if I can't figure out what to do, or you should, I don't know, take this radio with you. I got one of those things wrong though, as far as guessing the, you know, guessing the actual thing. Where each thing goes, and he gave me the clue too about it being to do with language. Bro, I saved 7 minutes ago. That must have just been when we went in that room. Probably gonna be something super obvious, but this is a worthy puzzle. Just figure out what else this clown wants to take right now. Holy shit. Or yeah, they're gonna spend all this time cleaning this shit up while we're out on a crazy adventure. So I have no idea. Yeah, we're role playing that we need this crutch to walk on because we got injured so badly by that guy. when we got knocked out. Faculty card, Bedford, Connecticut ID card. Dr. Henry Jones Jr., Professor of Archaeology, Woolley Hall. Dr. Henry Jones Jr. Wait, what? How do we get that nickname then? I guess I didn't even know that much. Maybe that's the only thing else we have to take with us. But does that mean I could have taken that from much earlier on and I just never noticed it? That's not like me. Equipped. Yeah, you have those 3 little ticks of health, which even when I succeeded at that little fight scene with the guy, the giant, that's what we're officially going to call him, I guess, in game too, because that's even what the item said, the pendant. It could just be something else that I missed, but I would be surprised. Like, is that actually what I needed? Because I explored here pretty thoroughly. Anyways, I'm the type to always do it ahead of time. I won't wait till it tells me to explore. I'll explore first and then get to the point where it will tell me that because I progressed in some other way. Where are we even at anymore? What? Oh, I don't know. This is weird. Almost makes it seem like it wants you to sit down and do something with this. Find something on the desk that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see. Or now under that light, we're able to find this booze under the table that we totally want to sneak with us. Bro, the only other thing I would care to bring is a gun. And either he doesn't have one, or it's very well hidden away, or he doesn't care to take it. Imagine how much trouble that would have saved you just before with the giant. Bro, I don't know. This is what I should have to do. This is part of the hard mode challenge aspect of it. I explored this place so thoroughly. The only other thing I could think of is the brush, which maybe is just misplaced in some other, I don't know where it ended up. Huh. This is a very strange session here. I mean, we got a lot of flavor out of it at least. But these are all just like different weapons. We were trying to use this against him actually, I think. But I don't think we were, like, when in my gameplay aspect we weren't using it, but in the cutscene he like tried using it, but then he got knocked down. Or I even complimented him for being sort of honorable that, oh, he didn't try to strike us back with it, he just knocked it to the side and then hit us with his bare hands. Like, he's trying to be man to man. So we got the ID. I swear I almost like sequence broke something because I don't really get it. We have the map. We have the little ID card. We have oh, there is like a hidden bag under there, but it's not something we're meant to really care about. These type of lights always remind me of Network, the scene, The World is a Business, Mr. Beale, where, you know, you have a whole row of those lights in a room, dimly lit room. You know, I shouldn't even be allowed to quit out until I figure this out, because then it'll reset to the last checkpoint, which I don't think I've really done anything meaningful since then, but this is kind of stupid. How am I missing something? I don't know what he even said that, or this should count as a failure state, then oh, I have to restart the game from the beginning because I couldn't figure it out. Which the problem with even doing that is if I died to something and I didn't know how I died or why I died, then I would go back through the whole game to get to that point, and then I would make the same mistake again because I still don't know what to do. Like, you know, if I did that with Danganronpa, like, oh, I died to the DDR moment. If I went back and solved the first case again and did another permadeath first playthrough, another attempt, I might die to the exact same thing because I don't know how it works. I really don't get it. Oh, that didn't do any fall damage. Yeah, there should be some kind of backlog almost where at least you can see what the guy said. Main menu, options menu, navigation, basic movement, advanced movement. I don't want us to spoil too many things here by looking at them, but okay, fine. Let's indulge what it's gonna say. Cat mummy photograph. I was trying as a rule not to use that, and we had seen that, but I don't get it. Like, didn't I just do that? Like, what do you mean? How did... You just saw me look at that. Photograph of a mummified cat. So didn't I just do that? So why didn't it let me take it? Like I did it before, and then I assumed... I guess that's what it was.
Setting out on another foolhardy escapade is not going to make matters better.
I'm not so sure about that.
Like I looked at it before, and then I assumed that it wouldn't let us take it before, so I assumed that
I
maybe...
must admit I am intrigued. Why would the Vatican want your cat mummy?
Exactly. And there's only one way to find out.
Come now, Indiana, you can't travel to Italy. The college would never sanction leave for this. Not in the middle of midterms. I mean...
Marcus, what's done is done. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to the Siwa expedition, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And when you got back, she wasn't there.
I gotta go.
He felt like it's such a big sacrifice.
Run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
Or is this going to be somehow copyright music when he uses the theme from there? But I mean, if that was the case, then the whole game should be copyright. Like...
On next plane to Rome. Stop. Need help. Stop. Meet me in Vatican. Stop. Indy.
My friend, stop. Vatican not safe. Stop. We'll wait for you at village steps. Stop. Subtlety is a virtue. Stop. Antonio.
You know, I do like the way the story is being presented for the most part, but that was a little clunky. The way it sort of... He just is so willing and immediately wants to go, like, with no... There should have been one other scene, like, to justify it a little bit. Like, he doesn't want to, but then he feels pressure to because of blank.
Village steps. Should be on the other side of this fortress.
I like his voice, but I don't know who's doing it. Like, it couldn't be Harrison Ford, or is it like some sort of AI-assisted Harrison Ford? That's like how they do like Michael Douglas and Ant-Man something, where they make de-aging thing. So they're doing, you know, for his face. So they'll do some de-aging thing for Harrison Ford's voice to make it sound like him, or it could just be somebody else doing it, or it could be him doing it, but then the age, you know, he's much younger in this. I don't know if it would entirely make sense. So that should be fine to do. I feel bad that I used the journal there. That should be a failure state too. Like how, I love how it does this, where whatever scene you're on is where you start, or I mean, where the title screen is at. But no, it's a case where you have, what do you call it? Using the journal should be a failure state. Failing the puzzle should be a failure state. Like all these things could be minor things. If I get 3 strikes like that, I should die. I won't do it like that, but just in general, I should have solved that puzzle. So I got one thing wrong, even though he mentioned the the Sumerian dialect or whatever, the Uyghur, whatever, started with a U, some writing, so you should have known that. And then I looked at the cat photograph. I'm almost curious to see that. I'll watch it back. Like, did it let me collect it or not the first time? Because it probably didn't, because I wasn't at that point yet where I could put it in the suitcase. So then I go and I advance the story, and then, oh, now I can't. Now I'm expected to pick it up again when it didn't let me pick it up the first time. Okay, see you tomorrow.